Socialization isn't about taking your puppy everywhere. It's about helping them feel safe and confident in new situations without overwhelming them. Hi, I'm Liz. I'm a trainer and a behavior nerd, and welcome to Puppy Primer, where I help you raise a happy, confident puppy step by step. Most people think socialization means just flooding puppies with experiences, going to busy parks, pet stores, play dates with every dog they meet. But that can actually all backfire if your puppy feels overwhelmed. What we want to build in socialization is a puppy who feels confident in the experiences that they're having. And if a puppy is overwhelmed or scared by those experiences, then those can actually make lasting impressions that are just as detrimental to their development as having no experiences or having limited experiences can be. So when we think of socialization, we want to think first, we want to think well beyond just meeting and playing with other dogs. That's only really a very, 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 very small part of the entire process of socialization and working with socializing young dogs. It's really a period of time of development in a puppy's life, usually somewhere up until they're about 14 weeks, 16 weeks, 16 weeks old, where they are forming their opinions and their understanding of how they relate to and connect to the world around them. So having pleasant experiences is ideal. Having a lack of experience, having no experiences with things can cause fear, but also having too much too fast and having overwhelming experiences can cause fear and uncertainty about those experiences. So, what does good socialization look like? True socialization really means creating positive, manageable experiences. You want to think quality over quantity here in a big way. One calm experience with a friendly dog, one pleasant play date, one good meeting with a child,
Gross.
one easy time watching cars go by means so much more than
Ew,
10 chaotic
ew, like these are
meetups, than
gross.
a lot of
These.
exposure. So you want to think about things very critically and deliberately when you are looking to socialize a puppy. When Riz was little, a lot of my focus was on building comfort handling and comfort walking on different surfaces and facing things that were bigger than him, because he was about
Gross.
a pound when he came home and he is 3 pounds now. And while that seems
Ew,
worlds
like these
bigger
are
than what
gross.
he was,
I like
it still
these.
means that he's a very small guy in a very, very big world. And he does need to tolerate a lot of handling. He needs to cope with a lot of things that are bigger than him, stronger than him, taller than him, and could potentially be very, very overwhelming to a small dog like him. So building up those experiences
Gross.
in a very systemic way is super
Ew, I like
important
these are
for building
gross.
those good
I
and
like
positive
these.
experiences. So here's how I work with puppies. First of all, I'm starting far enough away from the thing that I'm exposing them to that they notice it, but they aren't worried. They aren't worried, and they also aren't overwhelmed with excitement. I want a little bit, maybe, of curiosity. I love curiosity in a puppy, but I want ultimately an easy return to neutrality, an easy return to kind of a base level of regulation. Regulation is something that I end up talking a lot about when I'm talking about teenagers, but it really starts with these puppies, because if I'm starting in a place of stability, then I can more easily influence those emotions than I can if they have volatile feelings, whether those volatile feelings are positive in nature or negative in nature. I'm going to have a harder time influencing them if they're already bouncing all over the place. I'm going to pair whatever it is with something good. So whether that is, watching people or watching dogs or watching vehicles or, listening to noises or seeing big scary sights, I want to pair it with something good. So that might be treats, but it also might be praise or play depending on what your dog responds to best. And most importantly, I'm watching their body language and I'm kind of letting them lead the way. Some of the clips that you might have seen in the prior puppy primer video show Riz kind of exploring my training office with a wobble board and some playroom balls and my cats. And he really got to lead what he wanted to do and where he wanted to go in that situation. And as much as I can, I want to let the puppy take the lead in how close that they want to get. Again, provided that we can keep them relatively stable and neutral, how close they're comfortable getting, what they're comfortable interacting with. I'm not going to be too over encouraging in one particular session, but I am going to watch their body language. And if they're curious but a little uncertain, then we might go back and forth a little, and I might see if I can challenge them and push them just a little bit. But if they are really, really uncertain, if I'm starting to see their body language get a little bit suppressed, those ears go back, that body make itself smaller, tail tuck, anything like that, or even just a little bit of mild avoidance, we don't need to get closer. We're just going to watch them, let them process, maybe give them a little bit extra distance, because puppies are different from day to day. And a puppy who was fully comfortable with some stimuli one day may be very worried about it the next day or the next week. And that's because the developmental periods that they're going through, some of them do come with a heightened sensitivity or fear period. Some of them do come with a little bit more hesitation or reluctance because they're getting more aware of their world. And that means they're also more aware of the risks involved in their world. So your goal is a puppy who says to whatever their stimuli is, I see it and I'm okay. And you want to do that. You want to see that with just about any experience that you might want your puppy to be able to cope with as an adult. So whether that's, even if it's the summer, bringing out the winter clothing, whether that's people watching or watching contractors or construction work to get exposure to a lot of loud noises, whether that is exploring water if you want a dog who's really comfortable going swimming or going to the beach. You want a dog who is aware of the world around them, but not worried about it, not shut down from it, but also not exploding with excitement over it. You want a dog who's really prepared to cope with the environment that they're in. Calm curiosity is the win in all of these situations when it comes to puppy socialization. So this week, if you have a puppy at home, try this. Take your puppy to a parking lot or to a park where they can see the action from a distance. I really, really like this particular park that I'm at here with Calpurnia, who is a corgi puppy I worked with this year. And because there's this big, big, huge playground, it's very popular. Lots of kids are always there, but it's fenced in. So that means we can stay outside the fence. We are outside of the chaos, but we can watch and we can kind of take in all of the things that are happening around us from a distance where she's not getting overwhelmed. She's not getting bombarded by sensation, but she's getting a lot of exposure to it. And I'm just watching for relaxed body language from her while she's watching the chaos unfold in front of her. I want to see soft eyes. I want to see a loose tail or tail set in her case. I want to reward her for watching calmly. And if they're nervous, I'm just going to hang out and let her process before I try asking anything else of her. When I'm taking a puppy out for socialization, I really don't want to make that about a behavior session or an obedience or a manner session. So ideally, these are sessions where if we go out, I'm setting things up so I don't need to ask a whole lot of them. If we're going into a pet store, great. We're going to just hang out in one spot. Or if I want to move around, I'm going to see if they're comfortable riding in a cart or even being carried. And if they're a dog who's a little bit on the larger side and that's not an option for them, then yes, we'll walk, but I'm not going to focus on loose leash walking. I'm not going to focus on having them engage with me. This is about them sniffing and exploring and taking in the world at really what their pace is. Ultimately, socialization is an important developmental period, but it's also an important period to not place too much pressure on your puppy or on yourself. Making sure that your puppy has a lot of good quality experiences is important, but putting too much pressure on moving too fast can backfire both on you and on your puppy. Easy, calm, confident exposure from you will help to nurture an easy, calm, and confident puppy. Thanks for watching this episode of Puppy Primer. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you'd like a custom plan to help your puppy grow up confident, you can work with me virtually. Links are in the description.